Hey guys, I'm super excited to talk to you about the first episode of HBO's new show, House of the Dragon, as a massive Game of Thrones fan, and the fact that House Targaryen was like my favorite house. I've been thrilled for this series ever since it was announced. So let's dive into it. Let's get my spoiler-free review. But before we do, if this is your first time here, I'd love it if you take 1 second and hit that subscribe button. Go ahead and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any more videos like this one. Okay, let's talk House of the Dragon. Okay, guys. So first of all, let me say that it feels so very good to be back in Westeros. Okay, this very much feels like a Game of Thrones series. This brings me back to the beginning of Game of Thrones. Like, there's so much stuff that Game of Thrones fans are going to be excited to see and hear. So do you have to have seen Game of Thrones before to watch it? Let's get that out of the way. No, you really don't. I mean, this is a prequel, of course, as we know, so we really don't have to worry about that. But Game of Thrones fans will be super excited as little references are made, names are dropped, location names are dropped. There's Easter eggs, there's all sorts of stuff like that you'll know and you'll get if you're a Game of Thrones fan, but you can also totally kick off here. And I promise you, once you're done with this, you're probably going to want to dive in and watch all 8, maybe 7 seasons of Game of Thrones. Okay, so Targaryens, let's talk about the Targaryens. They're crazy. I love them. This is the backstory for the Targaryens, and so while there are a lot of new characters, of course, you get to know them fairly quickly. It's easy to connect with several of them very early on, which is, it says a lot considering you have 60 minutes, basically, a little more. I think it's like 66 minutes, but you have that time with these characters. That's not a lot, and there's a lot of characters, which means there is a lot of character building, which is probably one of the biggest downfalls, but it's a pilot episode and that happens, and they need to show you these characters and kind of explain them so that you can understand what their motivations are going forward. So I always understand character building. I always appreciate it. It just sometimes it drags things down. Now, the plot that we get is super intriguing and captivating. It's so good. Now, I will say where we end up at the end of the first episode, it's probably most people watching would have been able to figure out exactly where we will be. Like, give it like 10 minutes into the episode, you're probably like, oh, I know what's going to happen at the end of this episode. It's not a bad thing. It doesn't completely take away from the journey because it is a journey, but it's just something to note. Of course, we're setting up for a season, a whole entire season, maybe multiple seasons, a whole series. So it's important that they get you where you want to go, get you on the track pretty quickly. So let's talk about the visuals real quick. The dragon looks amazing. So good. There's a little bit of times it's like a little wonky, but you can tell they put a ton of money into the effects of this. There's so many crazy effects. You're just like, oh, they did not just do that. Like, there were many times I was like, audibly gasping, freaking out. There's just so much to really enjoy about the series. Again, it's just one episode that I've seen, but I can't wait to see where it goes from here. Matt Smith is incredible. He's probably my favorite in the series right now. I just love his character, and I don't want to give too much away, but I think he's definitely my favorite at this moment. So if you guys have already seen House of the Dragon by the time you get to this review, let me know what you thought down below of the first episode, or else let me know what you're most excited for the first episode. I can't wait for more. I am going to have weekly episode reviews up, so be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss those. You can also check me out over on Instagram, Twitter, and yes, TikTok. I'm MamasGeeky over there, MamasGeeky. Thanks for taking the time to watch this, guys. I will see you next time. Thank you so much to all my monetary supporters, my members, and my Patreons. Love you guys.